Well, good evening, and I understand that I'm the only one who stands between the end of conference and the reception, so I will try to be as brief as possible. Dear friends, dear participants, and speakers, panelists, it is great to see you here in our 10th Riga conference. We had NATO summit here, the first summit in the former territory of the Soviet Union that has been accompanied by the first Riga conference. I think that the summit has one long-standing effect. That's the tradition to gather in the autumn in Riga for 2 days for discussions on security, on foreign policy issues of the European Union, of NATO, also to discuss regional and global challenges. I tried to look into headlines we have had over past 10 years, and I found a very interesting kind of pattern. We started Riga conference in 2006 under the heading Transforming NATO in Global Era. We continued in 2007 with Europe at Crossroads agenda from Riga to Bucharest. Well, that has been quite a crossroad, and I think that we still remember a Romaine NATO summit in Bucharest over the membership action plan to Ukraine and Georgia and consequences we are facing actually also today. Then we continued in 2008, Europe whole and free, 19 years in making. In 2009, the economic and financial crisis, of course, was in our minds, and we were working under the headline Economic Recovery in a Changing Security Environment, Transatlantic Agenda. And then somehow we stopped to label the conferences, and we called it just Riga Conference. Seems that we started to understand that this quite an optimism is not working out. Unfortunately, I don't want to say, but to some extent, the last conferences and the last actions we are seeing in the political community, within the European Union, within the transatlantic community, would be probably acidly described as desperate housewives in soul-searching. Because we are in a situation where we see that we are overwhelmed with internal challenges within the European Union, be it the situation with the governance of Eurozone, Greek debt crisis, migration, and we are also challenged in our southern and eastern neighborhoods, be it Ukraine and illegal annexation of Crimea, be it Syria, be it Libya, be it Middle East peace process, and we sometimes tend to forget also other countries in the Eastern Partnerships that are undergoing also internal challenges, Moldova, Georgia. Also, we are seeing some developments in other Eastern partner nations. So, I think that we've seen the situation of perfect storm where we are trying to tackle many challenges at once. We have been talking in this conference about many issues, starting with NATO response to the current crisis that we face on the continent, strategic communication issues, hybrid warfare. We have been also talking about the future of Europe, about the current crisis in Europe. I think that we also have been talking a lot in the past about how to strengthen transatlantic bond. To some extent, we have been very united when it comes to the response to the Ukraine situation. At the same time, we still are trying to do our best, and we are not very good at it also to forge more economic and financial bond. And here, unfortunately, we see that TTIP negotiations are not going so well. However, I think that we also should address this in a most serious way. My final point on where we are and probably what we should do for the next Riga conference next year is to look at the situation we are in Europe. We have seen that the whole discussion over migration within the European Union has actually revealed some deep mental differences between the West and the East of Europe, between the North and the South of Europe. Unfortunately, I think that it's not because of migration crisis. Migration crisis has actually brought to our attention how different still we are after more than 25 years since the Berlin Wall has come down. We still have mental walls that we have to address very seriously. And from that view on the world issues in a different way also come so many differences when we talk within the European Union. I think that we all understand here in our part of Europe, in our part of the world, what solidarity and responsibility means. And I think that we all understand also that if you want to get the assistance and the help from others, you also have to listen and to react on the problems other countries, other member states have. But also I think that we should understand that being a good European is about solidarity and responsibility. But also being good European is not about trading insults and blackmailing. And also I think that being a good European is about cooperation and finding solutions to all the challenges we have. And being a good European is about being united. We are now facing this widening gap of understanding what we have to close. First, that's of course the responsibility of all politicians on the national level, in every European member state, but also at the EU level. I do hope that, as always in the past, when we have faced major crises, be it within Europe or in our transatlantic relations, we will come out strengthened and more efficient. But it takes quite a time. And I think that in our next deliberations, in 2016, in 2017, because I don't believe we will be able to find the solutions quickly, we'll be also paying the attention how to get more cohesion and unity in both, in the European family as well as in transatlantic family. My final point is, of course, the point that I usually do with the utmost pleasure. I want to thank all my colleagues in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the Ministry of Defense, and, of course, the most important partner, NATO, for putting this event together, for working tirelessly to get good speakers, to get good discussion ongoing, to get many side events. I also want to thank all the partners. They are listed here. It would take another 2-3 minutes just to read them, for their contribution and support. But my greatest thanks, as always, go to those people, our volunteers, people from NATO, from the Ministry of Defense, who were working not only those 2 days, assisting you, guiding you to venues, to assisting also with the registration, but who have worked already for quite a time to make this event a high-quality discussion on many issues. So I think that those people deserve a round of applause. And as usually, the foreign minister is entitled to make a housekeeping administrative remarks. I just want to inform you that our colleagues in the Ministry of Defense have been kind enough to offer some reception. All of you are invited. And thank you very much. See you next year. Goodbye.